trains at the Malvern Martial Arts Centre. He's just recently back from a win in Japan with a record of 18 fights and 13 wins. The Dragon, Paul Lee!
In the red corner, a former two-time world champion with an astounding record 22 fights with 18 wins. He's the Turkish wonder kicker, Barış Nezip.
Well, certainly a big step up, but he does have on his side the fact that Barış has had a bit of a layoff, and Paul Lee is certainly going to be hoping that Barış has a little bit of ring rust. He's going to want to jump on him early.
And Tarek, Barış Nezip looking for a rematch somewhere down the line with Mike Zambidis.
Yes, I think if he does a good job here tonight, he will deserve it, because he's the only guy that went 12 rounds with Michael Zambidis.
Certainly right.
Well, Paul Lee just walks into a side kick. Nicely done there from Nezip. You like that one, Wheels?
Yes, I did.
Old side kick to the chest routine. Nazif ties him up. Uncle Dave separates both men. We are 35 seconds down. It is already a matter of Paul Lee trying to bridge the gap and work the hands to the body and head, and Barış Nezip wanting to swing the legs.
Watch the head.
Well, the contrast in styles here is going to become evident. Paul Lee very much a walk-up, give-it-all fighter. Barış Nezip a very technical fighter and a very clever fighter, and that could be the undoing of Paul Lee. He's got to start to put a little bit more strategy in his bout, Tarek.
I think both these guys are very stubborn bulls, and this fight's going to go the distance the way it looks.
Well, we are set for 8x2. It is our semi-main event still to come, folks. The one you've been waiting for. Zambidis versus Oscar, the madness and the mania. And at the moment, a good contest in centre ring between Barış Nezip and Paul Lee. High left round kick whipping up to the head there from Nezip, and he's caught one below the border. The little Nezip's getting a rattle around there.
He doesn't look very comfortable, does he, Michael?
No, feeling a bit testy in centre ring, I'd say. Barış
He's
Nezip.
got a smile on his face.
He's got a, you don't know what it feels like, Wheels.
No, I don't.
It's not pleasant.
I can just imagine.
So that's the reason, Michael.
How do you know how it feels, Michael? You never kickboxed.
This is true. Being a man, though, you sort of know. Oh, beautiful left hook, high right round kick from Nezip. Straight right hand from Lee.
Well,
and
Paul
they
Lee
are going
busy.
for break here in the first round. Both men with extremely high work rates. Uncle Dave separates both men once more. Just a warning for the accidental head clash into the round, Tarek.
What about the little Crazy John logo on Uncle Dave's chest?
I like it.
I
like
noticed
it
that.
indeed.
Back to the action. Paul Lee trading non-stop with Barış Nezip. That side kick that put Paul Lee down. Momentarily have it, but nevertheless he did take a trip down to the canvas.
Okay, he is indeed Paul Lee, as we said earlier on, taking a big step up in talent here to face a former two-time world champion in Barış Nezip, and doing well, as Will said. Big body shot there from Nezip, checks the low kick, sign of class from him.
Hands up! Hands up!
Well, one thing that Barış can count on, and that is that Paul Lee is just going to keep walking forward. If he comes up with a counter strategy to that, I think you'll see Barış turn this fight around. Paul Lee needs to get a little bit more dimension in his attacks and just maybe wait for Barış to make a mistake rather than always initiating.
Ripping away to the body off the left hand again there, Nezip. Short right hand fell short. Inside thigh kick from Lee. And Barış is another contender, Wheels, for the Trunks of the Night award. The fine tassels. Barış Nezip, I've got to like him.
He definitely takes the cake in the outfit so
He's the
far.
winner so far.
I see Barış fighting a very smart fight here, because Paul Lee's one of the strongest fighters on the head. You can't knock Paul Lee down with a head kick or a punch that easily. So he's been working the body with his rips and his kicks, which is a very smart fight he's fighting at the moment.
And it's working too, Tarek.
Good call there from the super promoter as Barış Nezip goes down to the breadbasket. Outside thigh kick from the Dragon. Inside thigh kick from the Dragon. High left round kick, and as Tarek said, Paul Lee standing up to the power of Barış Nezip upstairs.
Yeah, good pass.
Well, they start to get Paul Lee on the back leg, Michael, which is an interesting thing to see because we never see Paul on the back leg.
He always comes forward. It's like one of those wind-up dolls. You wind him up and he just comes forward for the entire fight, Paul Lee. But at the moment, Nazif pushing him back against the ropes.
He's pushing back the Vietnamese warrior. The Black Dragon.
And how do you see Barris Nazif so far here, Hammer? As you said, it's been a while since we've seen him in action in Melbourne.
I'm seeing Barris started to get comfortable now in centre ring. He's starting to get a good game plan together, and I think he's just starting to work Paul Lee out and starting to do it nicely, Barris Nazif.
End of the second round, and Wheels, who do you lock that one away for?
I'm so impressed with Nazif. I think he's just doing so well. He keeps his head really well covered and just uses his legs. He's fantastic. I'm going with him this time.
There's a nice push kick to the face there coming by the way of the legs of Nazif. Nazif just fighting a very technical and smart fight. Paul Lee, absolute courage from him, just a walk-up fighter. But against someone like Barris Nazif, you need to use the smarts because Barris is a man with all the angles and all the moves.
Okay, Jamal Hassan telling his charge to go to the body. Here we go, round 3. Paul Lee opening up strongly.
Inside leg. Inside leg.
High right round kick from Nazif. Body shots from Lee, just not enough mustard behind him to do any real damage. And Uncle Dave separates both men.
Hands up. Hands up. Watch your head, come on, watch it. Oh, hands up.
Uncle Dave just warning not to hold each other. Both men have to fight it out. Big body shot, nicely done. Left rib cage from Barris Nazif, then winds up a kick under the armpit. Good work here from Nazif, Tarek.
Excellent work, and he's fighting a brilliant fight, but take nothing away from Paul Lee. He's trying his best. He's coming in there. He's taken those big hits, and he's throwing his own.
Well, it certainly has been one of the best undercards we've seen in a Tarek Solak promotion, I'll give you that much. And we've still got the main event to come. Ozcan and Zambidis.
That's going to be a ripper.
Oh, I can't wait for it. I cannot wait. I've got the straight jacket ready. Lee just shrugging Nazif off. Nazif trying to dig away to the right rib cage. Goes up to the head. Caught the forearm of Lee. Step across outside thigh kick from Lee. But Nazif not letting him off the ropes, Hammer.
Well, Barris is fighting a very technical and very clever fight. He's picking his shots, and you've got to look at his leg checks. As soon as Lee winds up that in-close leg kick, he sets it up well with Paul Lee. Head shots and then tries to roll the leg kick underneath. Barris has got his defences very much ironclad. Bang, up goes the shin and negates the kick. Very, very good work from Barris Nazif. He's come in well prepared with Jamal Hassan in the corner.
Comments from the Hammer Mark Castanini, former Australian Cruiserweight champion. Ringside with myself, Michael Chavello, Nicky Whelan and Tarek Solak. Uncle Dave separates both men into the final seconds of this round, and there it is. And a solid performance there for Barris Nazif, Wheels.
Oh, look, I think I'm going to have to stick with Barris Nazif. I think he's doing so well. He's holding up great. He's just very unpredictable, isn't he?
The action as it went down in the previous round, you can hear Jamal Hassan telling Barris, don't fight in close, use your distance, push him off with your front kicks.
Well, exactly right, and it's obviously a Jamal, a trainer that's been around for a long, long time, many years. It's the experience on the outside of the ring that can sometimes make the difference in a fight.
Okay, we are ready to roll. Both men touch gloves and we are underway. Overhand right from Paul Lee. And this is what Barris Nazif doesn't want to do, get into a slugfest with Lee. He's got those beautiful whipping around kicks and those long legs, Nazif, and there he cracks one into the left rib cage.
You're right, Michael. His trainer was telling him to not punch on and use his legs more so.
And that's definitely has to be the recipe for success for Nazif here tonight.
And I bet you didn't know that was my old trainer, Nicky.
No, I didn't, Tarek.
I started Taekwondo with Jamal Hassan 26 years ago. And I still go and train with him sometimes.
And I tell you what, Jamal Hassan's got some young kids training with him who are going to be future Olympians, Taekwondo Olympians, that's for sure. Body shots from Paul Lee. Outside thigh kick from Nazif.
Well, certainly Paul Lee is keeping busy, working the inside and outside thighs of Barris when he gets the opportunity. But I think his energy and his strength is certainly getting a little zapped as we go into the latter rounds now.
Turning back kick there from Nazif, didn't quite come up for him. Paul Lee's got to get out of that blue corner, work his way back in the centre ring. Uncle Dave telling Lee not to hold the back of the neck. And he might give him an official warning. It is a point deduction. There you go. Well, the crowd don't like it, Wheels, but a point being taken off Paul Lee for holding on to the back of the net.
That's the rules, Michael. You've got to stick to them. That's just the way the game is.
Baris Nazif now comes straight back into it. Inside thigh kick just takes out that support leg, Hammer.
Well, Paul Lee just plants his legs wide apart and he's just looping in the punches. A little bit of showmanship from Baris Nazif now, but he just wants to keep it strictly business because against the fighter, the courage of Paul Lee, he's always going to walk it and take it up to him.
Listen to this crowd for a moment. They are rallying behind both Baris Nazif and Paul Lee here in the Vodafone Arena. Baris Nazif straight left-hand side of the draw, and Paul Lee powering back ferociously. I don't think he stole it, though. We've got to give that one the way of Baris Nazif because there was the point deduction, Hammer.
Well, certainly even without the point deduction.
Give me water.
Well, Jamal, very spirited indeed, very passionate man, Jamal Hassan. And he really wants Baris to do well in his somewhat a comeback fight. But Baris Nazif just anticipating Paul Lee's moves almost before he throws them and just chopping out the supporting leg, bang. Down it went. Clever tactics from Nazif.
Okay, Nick Carroll there with Paul Lee telling him that Baris Nazif can't keep up this work rate for another 4 rounds. So Lee looking to steal the fight in the latter stages. We move into round 5. We are set for 8. Nice step up. A lateral movement there from Baris Nazif. Lee's got to be careful not to continue holding or risk another point deduction. Good front kick to the face there from Nazif in close. And Lee just refusing to give Nazif the room that he wants to work those kicks. Oh, tagging left hand to the orbital bone there on Lee. Inside thigh kick from Lee. Continues to come forward. Awkward uppercut there from Nazif and the inside thigh kick from Nazif.
Well, Nazif really needs to keep his hands busy. He's relying a little too much on his kicks. And the blue corner, Nick Carra may be right. Baris is slowing as this fight progresses.
Straight right hand there from Nazif. Certainly not as busy as he has been in previous rounds. Has Nick Carra made the call that Nazif is going to tire?
Well, he is tiring and he is slowing.
By the same token, so is Paul Lee, however, failing to take up the momentum here in centre ring. Still throwing a fair bit, but nothing really landing to worry Baris Nazif.
Well, as Tarek said earlier, though, he anticipated this one maybe to go the distance. And they're both stubborn boys, that's for sure.
This is the only reason why this fight's a second main event, because I knew this will go the distance and it'll get the crowd enough time to go to call it or whatever. If they want to do that before the good Kanuska and Michael Zambi this fight.
You're very considerate. Just making sure everyone has a bit of a toilet break and gets a drink.
I'll wet myself before the main event.
Nicky Willen was asking for some hot chips.
Okay, end of the 5th round. We're about to roll into round number 6. And Wheels, while you're at it, can you grab me a dim sim or 2?
Done.
Thanks for that. Hammer, at this stage, Baris Nazif slowing down, and Paul Lee really does need an injection of energy if he's to steal the next 3 rounds. You enjoying this semi-main event, Wheels?
I'm absolutely loving it. I'm just a bit worried about Nazif. He seems to be slowing down a little bit, but I mean, by the looks of things, he's snapped back out of it. Look at this.
It is a ripper indeed. Baris Nazif trying to work up the Turkish wonder kick upstairs. Inside thigh kick from Lee. Nazif dancing around, waiting for his opportunity. Front kick to the midsection there from Lee. A little bit of swelling under the right eye of Paul Lee, but nothing too serious. Good body shot off the left hand. Digging away to the breadbasket was Nazif. Short right hand over the top of the left forearm there from Lee. And Lee picking up the momentum. He's got to find his range a little bit better though, Hammer. He's throwing a lot, but his landing ratio isn't that high.
Oh, he's busy, that's for sure. But he's just got to start to dig him in a bit more, Lee. He's wearing a lot. The other thing is he's wearing a lot of impact on the way in. Paul Lee is getting caught a bit from Baris as he's attempting to go inwards.
Axe kick there from Nezef. Amazing to see so many of our fighters here tonight, Hammer. Already about 4 fighters trying the axe kick.
I'll tell you why, Michael. I offered a lot of fighters $1,000 bonus for any knockout, $2,000 bonus for a head kick knockout. So it helps the kids when they're paying their bills, you know?
Yeah, that'll do it. That's a good enough reason. You can bank on it, and we'll see if Baris Nazif can execute it. But as Tarek said earlier on, it's going to be a mighty hard task against Paul Lee.
And on the main event, it's 10,000 to 20,000
for a knockout.
Head kick knockout.
Oh,
now I'll even offer 100,000 because Gurkhan and Zambiris, they both can't knock out with head kicks that easily.
True, very, very true.
I'm safe.
Always the safe bet, Tarek Solak.
Never makes bets he can't win. Tarek Solak and Baris Nazif showing a lot of respect here for Paul Lee, and Paul Lee stepping up in class, as we said, coming back from a successful venture over in Japan with Ron Parr. And we've got 2 more rounds to go, Hammer.
Well, I'll tell you what, again, Paul Lee putting in a solid round, but I think Barish doing the tidier work again in that round. Once again, having a look at the action of that latter round. Barish high and low. His attacks are coming in from all angles. Paul Lee, a nuggety fighter, very much a walk-in fighter, just throws caution to the wind.
And Wheels, Baris Nazif is slowing down, but he is still on top of this fight.
I don't know, Michael. I think he came back pretty well in that last round. We'll just see how he goes in this one.
Okay, comments there from Nicky Whelan. As we open up round 7, Tarek.
Let's not forget that Barish has fought a couple of 12 rounders before. He is a very conditioned fighter, and he's been there before in 12 rounds a few times.
A heavily underrated fighter, Baris Nazif, pops out 3 jabs. Where's an outside thigh kick to the lead leg? Outside thigh, inside thigh from Paul Lee. Nazif returns the favour. Another outside thigh kick from Nazif. More kick than a can-can dancer in this round from the Turkish wonder kicker. Good rib kick to the left side of the body there from Nazif. Step up hook didn't find the mark from Lee. If Lee starts throwing the one-shots, you'll know that he's tiring. Once the combinations end. Good high right round kick, caught the forearms. Wild body shot there from Nazif. Still to come, folks, main event, Gurkhan Ozkan, Mike Zambides, the ISKA super middleweight. Crown on the line, over 12 rounds. Outside thigh kick from Nazif, and he is stamping his dominance on this one, Hammer.
Well, Nazif now starting to come into his real comfort zone. He's really dictating how this fight's going, Nazif. Paul Lee is still giving it his all, but Nazif is getting more and more comfortable with the unloading on Lee on the way in, as we just saw there. And again with the push kick, when Paul Lee gets in there, he's really out of puff now. He's doing it hard on the inside, even Paul Lee now.
Very relaxed over by the ropes there, Baris Nazif on top of that FUBU, and
oh, across the face, the shin.
Nicely done there from Nazif.
What does that tell you about Paul Lee's chin?
You can't break it, that's for sure. And I'll tell you what, Nazif's got his work ahead of him if he wants to try to knock down Paul Lee off a high round kick. Walks into another front kick into that round. It's one-way traffic to Baris Nazif, Hammer, and he knows it.
Nazif stamping his authority now in this fight. See Nazif working the body and going down low. Paul Lee trying hard to get Nazif off him, but there's the head kick off the rear leg, and again the push kick from Nazif. Nazif just working solidly. As I said, he's found his range now. The shin wraps around the face of Paul Lee, but he's a tough boy and he keeps coming on.
Alrighty, here we go, the 8th and final round from the Vodafone Arena. It's semi-main event of no respect to, and an ultra-confident Baris Nazif. Romper stomper style, Hammer in centre ring against Paul Lee, who I think has, well, not bitten off more than he can chew, but certainly found a different inch in class so far.
Well, it's a totally different fight for Paul Lee here tonight. He's fighting someone who's got all the moves, who's been around the block, and Paul Lee's just walking into all sorts of angles now from Baris Nazif, and Baris is getting more and more comfortable with this opponent that has been matched here tonight.
Short right hand side of the jaw there from Paul Lee, and the inside thigh kick, high left round kick, shins the jaws from Baris Nazif. Outside thigh kick from Nazif, uppercut from Nazif, and here's teeing off on Paul Lee. Paul Lee taking more hits than the internet here in the 8th round, but he's still moving forward. And what have you done? Oh, geez, Tarek Silas put the big bowl of wedges in front of me, Hammer.
If there's anything that's going to distract you, it's that.
Wedges and sour cream. Oh. Spinning, turning kick there from Baris Nazif over in the blue corner, all tied up, nowhere to go. And Uncle Dave separates both men. It is all one-way traffic to Baris Nazif, showing the goods that made him a former two-time world super welterweight champion, and he is back on the hunt for a rematch with Mike Zambides somewhere down the line. Not the only one either. A lot of people wanting a shot at Zambides.
Well, I tell you what, Paul Lee, very similar in stature to Zambides. He's a short, nuggety fighter, walk-up fighter with a powerful build and good power in his hands. But Baris Nazif tonight is absolutely dominating in centre ring now. He's getting very comfortable with fighting Paul Lee, and Paul Lee seems to be zapped of power.
High left round kick from Nazif. Paul Lee backed against the ropes. A little bit of a slingshot effect. The final 10-second clacker, and this one's almost over. And Paul Lee has gone the distance for the former two-time world champion. And full credit to him. But this one, Hammer and Wheels, is going to go the way of Baris Nazif.
Both boys' arms around each other. They're both exhausted.
Did I catch you with a mouthful of potato wedges then, Wheels?
Yes, you did.
I did indeed.
Nothing out of the box. All nice and strong and safe. And always got the win, and Baris has done that here tonight. Paul Lee got to take out after him. Great effort in stepping up against Baris tonight, and he'll only benefit from this experience.
The winner for Fight 7 goes